Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the International Fuel Tax Agreement, or IFTA webinar. My name is Jamie. I'm with the Department of Revenue and will be your facilitator today. Joining me is Tiffany, who will be my producer, Steve, who will be my co-producer, and Aaron, who is our subject matter expert. Now, we anticipate this webinar will last from 1 p.m. to approximately 3 p.m. this afternoon. In today's webinar, we're going to cover International Fuel Tax Agreement, what is IFTA, how to apply, how to register, how to navigate, and how to file. We're also going to discuss some of the common errors that we see on our end. And there's also a Q&A option at the bottom of your Zoom screen to ask questions on the topics we cover during this webinar. And at the end of the webinar, we'll also have a live Q&A session before we wrap things up. Upon completion of this webinar, you should be able to describe what is an international fuel tax agreement and how it works, illustrate how to establish access and revenue online, demonstrate how to register through revenue online, effectively navigate revenue online, properly file your taxes in a timely manner, and last but not least, avoid making some of the most common IFTA errors. Now, no amazing webinar is complete without an amazing disclosure, so here's ours. This presentation is intended to provide general information concerning Colorado tax topics in simple and straightforward language. Although we have done our best to provide accurate and complete tax information, this information is not binding on the Department of Revenue, nor does it replace, alter, or supersede Colorado tax law and regulations. We do highly recommend consulting with a tax professional for your specific tax situation. Now, IFTA's website address is Tax.Colorado.gov/IFTA. On our website, you can find IFTA news and updates, license information, IFTA decals, filing information, and record keeping information. Think of our website as an IFTA information superstore that's open 24/7, 365, and all of the information is absolutely free. Revenue Online is an administration portal that you can use to make payments, file returns, update your mailing address, or if necessary, close your account. There are also some helpful links and additional services that might be helpful to you, including license information and record keeping information. Revenue Online was recently upgraded, and we would highly recommend using this method to file your taxes. We're now going to watch a video regarding what is IFTA. My producer, Tiffany, can you please share the video with us?
Absolutely, I would be happy to do so.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Hello, Colorado truckers, and thank you for everything you do. My name is Steve, and on behalf of the Colorado Department of Revenue, it is my pleasure to walk you through this video introduction to the benefits of the International Fuel Tax Agreement, or IFTA. The question is, why IFTA? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Here's what we'll cover in this video. What exactly is the International Fuel Tax Agreement, or IFTA? The purpose of IFTA? Does IFTA apply to you? Why IFTA? The IFTA application process, how to receive IFTA news and updates by email, and tools and resources if you want or need to learn more. IFTA is an agreement between member jurisdictions to cooperatively administer motor fuel use tax within the 48 contiguous states of the United States and 10 Canadian provinces. The purpose of IFTA is to simplify the reporting of motor fuel use taxes. IFTA is not an additional tax. Because large commercial vehicles can travel through multiple states without stopping for fuel, a motor carrier may travel through a state, not purchase any fuel, and therefore not pay that state for the use of their roads. IFTA simply redistributes the tax to the state where the fuel was actually used, instead of where it was purchased. So each jurisdiction has the funds necessary to maintain roads for interstate commerce. You're required to obtain an IFTA license if Colorado is your base state or jurisdiction, and you operate a qualified vehicle in 2 or more member states or jurisdictions. Not sure if Colorado is your base state or jurisdiction, or if your vehicle qualifies for IFTA purposes? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Let's examine those requirements now. Colorado is your base state jurisdiction if your business is located in Colorado, the operational control and operational records are maintained at a Colorado location, and the qualified motor vehicles will travel in Colorado regularly, and your qualified motor vehicles are registered in Colorado. IFTA qualified motor vehicles are used, designed, or maintained for the transportation of persons or property, have 2 axles and a gross vehicle weight or GVW or registered GVW exceeding 26,000 pounds, have 3 or more axles regardless of weight, or are used in combination when the weight of such combination exceeds 26,000 pounds GVW or registered GVW. Lastly, IFTA qualified motor vehicles do not include recreational vehicles. IFTA makes it so much easier to be and remain tax compliant. IFTA simplifies the process of paying fuel taxes so you only pay what you owe and can spend more time on the road earning money and less time worrying about taxes. Only 1 tax return is filed each quarter with your base state or jurisdiction for fuel consumed in all member states and jurisdictions. And IFTA allows you to travel in all IFTA member jurisdictions. If you determine that you need to register with IFTA because Colorado is your base state or jurisdiction and you operate a qualified motor vehicle in 2 or more member states or jurisdictions, it's very simple to apply. Here's how. To begin the application process, simply go to Tax.Colorado.gov/IFTA. In the About IFTA column, click on License Requirements. Review the licensing requirements, and if you meet the requirements, click the blue License Information hyperlink shown here to apply. On the next screen, click on the blue DR7119 hyperlink. That will take you straight to the IFTA registration application and instructions. It's that simple. Whether you're getting ready to register with IFTA for the first time or already have your IFTA license, we encourage you to take advantage of and sign up for our free IFTA email service so you'll automatically be notified when new IFTA tax information or training opportunities are available without having to return to the website to check for changes. This is a free service provided by the Colorado Department of Revenue, and your email address will only be used to deliver IFTA information. It's super easy to sign up. Here's how. To sign up for IFTA news and updates, simply go to Tax.Colorado.gov/IFTA. In the About IFTA column, click on News and Updates. Click Sign Up Here, located under the Email Updates tab. On the next screen, simply enter your email address, your first name and your last name, click Sign Up at the bottom, and you're done. As a reminder, there are many IFTA resources available to you through the Colorado Department of Revenue. Please keep these resources in mind if you find you need additional support. There are also many ways you can contact the Colorado Department of Revenue's Fuel Tax Unit if you need assistance.
Great. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I definitely appreciate you sharing that video for us.
Most definitely.
Now I want to go ahead and check in with Steve, my co-producer, to see what's new in our Q&A. Steve, do you have anything for us?
Jamie, thanks for checking in with me, and you're doing a marvelous job. You've got blue skies and green lights. Keep going.
Great, thank you so much. I just want to remind folks at the bottom of the Zoom screen, there is a Q&A option. We do have a subject matter expert with us today from IFTA, so please feel free to go ahead and put in any questions that you have anytime, and Aaron will definitely do his best to get those answered. Thanks, Steve. Moving on. So we're now going to watch a video that will walk us through how to apply for a Colorado fuel tax agreement license. Tiffany, would you mind sharing this video with us?
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going for us all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Steve, and on behalf of the Colorado Department of Revenue, it is my pleasure to walk you through this video on how to apply for an International Fuel Tax Agreement, or IFTA license. Here's what we'll cover in this video: an introduction to IFTA, IFTA registration requirements, IFTA qualified motor vehicles, how to determine if Colorado is your base jurisdiction, what to do before you apply, how to submit an IFTA application, fuel tax unit contacts if you need help, and you can pause and rewind this video at any time to review the information provided. Let's go ahead and get started. The International Fuel Tax Agreement, or IFTA, is an agreement between member jurisdictions to simplify the reporting of motor fuel use taxes. One tax return is filed with the base jurisdiction for fuel consumed in all member jurisdictions. Each jurisdiction assigns its own tax rates to each of the various fuel types and may define what constitutes taxable activity and what is tax exempt. All 48 contiguous states and 10 Canadian provinces are members. As large commercial vehicles can travel through multiple states without stopping for fuel, a motor carrier may travel through a state and not purchase any fuel, and therefore does not pay that state for the use of their roads. IFTA is not an additional tax, but redistributes the tax to the state where the fuel was actually used versus where it was purchased. Motor carriers based in Colorado are required to obtain an IFTA license if they operate at least one qualified motor vehicle and will travel to or from at least one other IFTA member jurisdiction. Motor carriers that are based in Colorado but do not travel out of state do not qualify for IFTA. IFTA qualified motor vehicles are motor vehicles used, designed, or maintained for transportation of persons or property, and have two axles and a gross vehicle weight, or GVW, or registered GVW, exceeding 26,000 pounds, or have three or more axles regardless of weight, or are used in combination when the weight of such combination exceeds 26,000 pounds GVW or registered GVW. IFTA qualified vehicles do not include recreational vehicles. Colorado is your base jurisdiction if your business is located in Colorado, the operational control and operational records are maintained at a Colorado location, and the qualified motor vehicles will travel in Colorado regularly, and your qualified motor vehicles are registered in Colorado. If you have qualified motor vehicles registered in two or more jurisdictions, you may consolidate your fleets for IFTA licensing in one jurisdiction upon approval by the IFTA jurisdictions involved. Before submitting your application, you must meet the requirements for obtaining a Colorado IFTA license, which are to operate at least one qualified motor vehicle and travel to or from at least one other IFTA member jurisdiction. For business customers, be registered and in good standing with the Colorado Secretary of State at sos.state.co.us. For customers with trade names, register the trade name with the Colorado Secretary of State under the IFTA trade name. Have a copy of the IRS document verifying your Federal Employer Identification Number, or FEIN. IRS Documents 147C and CP 565 meet the FEIN verification criteria. And lastly, have a copy of the current vehicle registrations. To apply, go to Tax.Colorado.gov, hover over the Forms and Instructions tab or click the white drop-down arrow, then click on Forms by Number. Scroll down until you find Form DR7119, International Fuel Tax Agreement, IFTA Registration. Click on the form number to download and print the application. Follow the attached instructions and complete the application in full. A completed application is required. Failure to provide all requested information and documentation will result in your application being denied. Submit the application by email or mail using the contact information located at the top of the form. For assistance, please call the IFTA helpline at 303-205-8205 and select option number 1. Please allow the fuel tax unit 1 to 3 days to review your application after it is received. Once your application has been processed and approved, you'll receive your IFTA credentials. Your IFTA credentials will automatically be mailed via USPS to the mailing address provided on the application. To expedite delivery of your IFTA credentials, you can include your FedEx account number and request overnight service with your application submission. Your FedEx account will be charged for this service. As a reminder, there are many IFTA resources available to you through the Colorado Department of Revenue. Please keep these resources in mind if you find you need additional support. There are also many ways you can contact the Colorado Department of Revenue's Fuel Tax Unit if you need assistance.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that video for us, Tiffany.
Most definitely. Just let me know if you need anything else.
Great. Thank you. I'm now going to go ahead and turn this over to Aaron, who is our subject matter expert. He's going to walk us through how to register.
Hello,
Aaron?
everyone. I'm here. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. What I'm going to do is just kind of give you a quick overview of how to apply for IFTA, and then I'm going to share my screen and do kind of a mock application. The first step when you're setting up your IFTA account or planning on setting up your IFTA account is to get your vehicles registered in Colorado. If you're buying your vehicle out of state or you're buying from a local dealer, you will need to get a permanent plate. That's the 1234 XYZ in order to get that to work. We always recommend that if you are going to register your vehicle with IRP. That's the International Registration Plan. A little bit faster also makes us setting up your account a little bit faster. In order to obtain our application, you do need to go to our website. That's Tax.Colorado.gov in order to get the application. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have the ability to fill it out electronically or online. So you'll have to print out the PDF and fill it out that way. When you obtain the application, make sure you're filling it out completely. Applications that are missing information, such as FEINs, social security numbers, missing any kind of vehicle registration information, will get rejected. You'll get a letter back from us or an email back from us saying, please complete the rest of the application. Once you're done with the application, our email address is at the top of the form, or you can mail it to us. Just kind of depends on how quickly you need it. If you email it to us, it's usually 1 to 3 business days. If you mail it to us, it is at the mercy of the post office to kind of when that arrives.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And did you want to go ahead and share your screen and kind of walk us through how to register?
Let me know when you see my screen.
We can see it, Aaron.
Okay, perfect. So this is what our website looks like. This is the Tax.Colorado.gov website. And like Steve had mentioned, if you hover over forms and instructions, you can sort by forms in number order. Once we click on that, we're basically going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And we want to click on the one that says IFTA Tax Agreement Registration, which is this 7119. Now, I've already got one kind of started for us, just so I can kind of expedite this. Hopefully I can get the screen to minimize a little bit. There we go. Okay. So once you click on the link, it's going to open a PDF. This is the instruction page. If you ever forget where you're at or need additional instructions, they're all right here on this very first page. So we're going to scroll down a little bit to the second page. Now, 90% of folks, when they're applying for IFTA, will be applying as either an LLC, a corporation. So that's where this entity type of ownership comes along. Make sure you do have one of those selected. Unfortunately, it will get rejected if one of these is missing. So in most cases, if you're applying as a business, the business name is going to be the IFTA account holder. Again, I just made one just to show how it looks. Make sure you include the business name, an FEIN if one was assigned to you, location, ownership information, and a good working phone number, just in case we ever have to reach out to you for any kind of corrections. Now, down here at the bottom, this holds up a lot of people. So if you've never had IFTA before, you're most likely going to be checking no for these boxes right here. Were you ever licensed in another jurisdiction, or have you ever been revoked or canceled in another jurisdiction? Most folks, if this is your first time applying for IFTA, the answer for those is going to be no. Now, down here at the bottom, you'll see US DOT number. A lot of times we see this left blank. We do need this number to be filled out in order to process your application. Down here, block number 6, here are the common fuel types. For 2021, we did add electricity and hydrogen. A couple of states do charge a excise tax for those, so kind of be aware of that. 99% of the time, the choice is going to be diesel right here off to the left. Down here at the bottom, you'll see the requested effective date. Any date you want to put on there is fine. We'll typically open you up the same day we process the application. Vehicle registration number down here at the bottom. This 99% of the time is going to be the IRP account number that the DMV assigned to you. Otherwise, you can include the plate number for your county registration. If you want to sign up for our email distribution, there's a checkbox right here. Please do provide your email address when you fill this out. Okay, on to the second page. Now, this information is going to be the same as the first part. You applied as IFTA trucking, include your FEIN. 99% of the time, if you don't know where you're going, go ahead and check this box up top for all jurisdictions. There is no fee for applying for IFTA. So if you realize you're only going to be traveling in 2 states and change your mind at some point in the future, you're more than welcome to add more states. Down here at the bottom, please do include your name, your title, and do not forget to sign. Majority of the rejections we get are because taxpayers have forgotten to sign the application.
Great. Thank you so much for walking us through that process, Erin. I definitely appreciate it. I also want to point out that Tiffany did share the links to the DR 7119 and the DR 7511 in the chat. So if you need to get access to those documents easily, please go ahead and pull up the chat feature at the bottom of your screen and you will be able to access that information. So thank you. Erin, can you also share some of the common application errors that you see come through on your end?
Sure, absolutely. So again, like Steve had mentioned in the previous video, and I had mentioned when I went over the application, there are additional documentation requirements. So if you're applying as an LLC or a corp, you should have been issued an FEIN by the IRS. You will need to include something supporting that with your application, along with a copy of your vehicle registration and anything you have from the Colorado Secretary of State showing that you registered your business in Colorado. The majority of the rejections we get are because we're missing those additional documents. As we'll kind of go down the list, when folks are applying as an LLC, the common error is applying as the individual. If you are applying as an LLC or a corp, they will be the business or they will be the IFTA account holder. And then as you're filling out the application, sometimes we get a little bit ahead of ourselves when we forget to fill in information, US DOT number, registration, owner information. The application will get rejected for that. And then as far as signatures go, biggest thing, we need your John Hancock in order to process this application. We need to make sure all those applications are signed. If you're having a third party do your application for you, please make sure you include a power of attorney. Applications that are signed by, Tammy's tax services will get rejected because it has to be signed by an owner or an officer of the company.
Great. Thank you so much for the reminders, Erin. I think those are very important. Thank you. Okay, let's check in with Steve to see if there's anything new in our Q&A regarding the application process. Steve, what do you have for us?
And Jamie, we have no questions. Just want to again remind everybody, please take advantage of this time with our Department of Revenue subject matter expert in IFTA. Drop those questions into the Q&A and we will get them answered for you. But right now we're clear.
Great. Thank you so much for that reminder.
My pleasure.
This next section is I'm going to turn this over to Aaron so he can show you how amazing this tool is, and he'll point out some of the benefits of filing using Revenue Online. And again, talk about really how it eliminates those mistakes, and it's going to cut down significantly on the time that it's going to take you to file for each location. So Aaron, I will go ahead and hand this over to you.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. So you've got your IFTA account. You want to go ahead and file your returns. So this is what Revenue Online looks like. If you've never used it before, it's pretty straightforward. Your account information is going to be up here in the top left. You're going to have your accounts. For the majority of taxpayers, you're only going to have the IFTA account. If you have an individual income tax account, you can also get to it from this screen. To file your return, it's very straightforward. We're going to go off to the right here and click on File a Return. You're going to come up with this first screen. You'll probably hear us refer to it as step one. This is where you're going to enter all of the fuel that you purchased in the quarter. So for this particular return, we're looking at October, November, and December, or excuse me, October, November, December. You're going to enter all of the gallons that you purchased. So if you purchased, let's say, 10,000 gallons, you're going to enter it into step one, and you go down to the lower right-hand corner and click on Next. Now, the second step is going to be all of your jurisdiction mileage. So let's say, for instance, in this particular return, you've only traveled in Colorado and Wyoming. You're going to enter in all of your mileage into this total mile column. It's the only one you can click into. If I click in any one of these other columns, nothing happens. So if we click on total miles in Colorado, let's say we did 20,000 miles. And you click anywhere else on the screen, you're going to see a lot of calculations start to happen in the background. We always say to taxpayers, kind of ignore this right now. It's not going to be, or it's not going to look correct until we're almost done. I've typed in 20,000 miles. Oh no, I owe $2,000. Let's take a break and we'll step back a little bit. So I remember in step one, I entered 10,000 gallons. So let's say I bought 9,000 gallons in Colorado. In this center column that says tax paid gallons, I'm going to go ahead and enter those. And again, these two numbers right here aren't going to match. This is what was on your receipts. So my receipts, when I added them all up, said I bought 9,000 gallons in Colorado. I'm going to go ahead and type that into the center white column. Okay. Now, our second state we traveled through is Wyoming. I'm going to scroll all the way down and find Wyoming. Let's say we traveled 10,000 miles in Wyoming. I'm going to go ahead and enter that. And you'll see it's still doing math in the background. Now, remember, in step one, we put 10,000 gallons. I've already entered 9,000 gallons up here. So I want to put my other 1,000 gallons down here. Okay, type in where on the screen, it'll update all the information for me. So down here at the bottom, we have 30,000 miles. It matches our taxable miles. Our taxable gallons that we entered into step one matches what we have for step two. And this is what we'll owe. Again, IFTA is not an additional tax, it's a redistribution of tax. Because I bought fuel in Colorado and traveled mileage in Wyoming, some of that money is going to be sent over to Wyoming. Once we've looked at this over, we've confirmed everything is correct. Down here at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and click Next. Okay. It'll give you kind of an overview of what you look at. Again, double check and make sure everything is correct. Down here at the bottom, I agree that everything was entered correct and true. Now, there is a late filing penalty on this one. That's just because of the way I've set up the testing environment. Down at the bottom, we're going to hit Submit. It'll ask you for your password one more time, and you have successfully filed your return. It's that quick.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing that, Aaron. Again, I just want to point out, folks, how easier it is to file through Revenue Online. Again, using Revenue Online will significantly cut down on the time that it takes to file for each location, and it also eliminates some of that human mistake. So it really is a great tool to use. We definitely want you guys to get logged in if you haven't had a chance. If you do use it, please continue to do so because it will save you time in the long run. Next, I want to go ahead and check in with Steve to see if there's anything new in the Q&A regarding navigating Revenue Online, applying for IFTA. What do you have for us, Steve?
And thanks for checking in, Jamie. And you folks are doing a marvelous job. We have no questions coming in on any of that material. Again, encourage you, if you have any questions at all, we have a Department of Revenue subject matter expert with IFTA, with Aaron here with us today. We'll be happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Aaron, can you go ahead and share some of the errors that you see on your end when it comes to filing?
Sure, absolutely. So when we receive a claim form, when it's by paper, the most common error we get is information is left blank. That's why we're always encouraging folks to file through Revenue Online. It prevents a lot of those kind of oversights to happen, and that way your return will get processed. It'll also get processed a lot faster. Again, if you're mailing a return into the Department of Revenue, you're kind of at the mercy of the post office. Revenue Online is much faster. You'll get your money back to you much faster. As I mentioned when I gave a quick kind of overview of Revenue Online and the filing, your taxable gallons and your tax paid gallons should not match when you're looking at your jurisdictions. If I bought all of my fuel in Colorado and I travel in other states, all of that fuel is going to be entered into Colorado. The taxable gallons is an estimate based off your miles per gallon, and for most cases will not match your tax paid gallons. Your tax paid gallons is what is on your receipts. In the very first step is the total gallons of fuel you purchased for the entire quarter. We very often see less gallons in step 1 than we do in step 2. Again, that's all 3 months all added up go into step 1. And at the end of your return, the total gallons you have in step 1 should match the total gallons you have in step 2. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate your help sharing some of those errors that you're seeing on your end. So hopefully we can help cut some of those down. Now, keep in mind that the return payment is due at the end of the month after the quarter. There is an automatic $50 late filing penalty, or 10%, whichever is greater. You always have the right to file a protest. If someone does not file for a long period of time, the Colorado Department of Revenue has the right to close or revoke an account, which would require a bond or deny another account for a total of a year. So keep that in mind when filing late. Now, to avoid penalty and interest, IFTA returns must be filed and any balance must be paid by the quarterly due dates. Now, here's some important dates to remember and that we want you to mark your calendars for to keep in mind. Also, filing early can help reduce processing delays. The next due date that you're going to want to mark your calendar for is for the reporting period from January to March, which includes today, and I believe we're wrapping up March next week, which will make the return or payment due by April 30th. Now, if a return or payment due date falls on a weekend or a holiday, the due date is going to be the next business day. So again, mark your calendars. The next due date that you're going to want to put on your calendar is this reporting period again, which is January through March, which is going to make your IFTA return and your payment due date this April 30th. Now, I want to check in with Steve to see if we've had any final questions come through regarding IFTA before we wrap up this webinar. Steve, do you have any questions for us at all?
And Jamie, thanks for checking in with me. And we have blue skies and green lights. You're clear and good to go.
Keep in mind, our motto is to always help. Our mission is to promote voluntary compliance with Colorado tax laws through information, education, assistance, and customer service. There are a wide variety of resources and tools that are available for you to use if you ever have any questions. We have our websites, an IFTA helpline. You can schedule an appointment to see someone at any of our local offices, or you can email us at dor_fueltax@state.co.us. Or you can also sign up to receive IFTA alerts by going to Tax.Colorado.gov/email-sign-up. Now, after this webinar, you will receive a survey, and we would greatly appreciate it if you would just please take a moment to fill it out and provide us with your feedback so we can continue to improve on any of our webinars. Now, Steve, before we end, again, I just want to check back in with you real quick. Has any last minute questions come through the Q&A that Aaron can assist us with?
We actually do have a question. We have a great question from Ryan, and I know that Aaron will definitely be able to help him with this one. Ryan's question is, what document should be maintained to support IFTA filings?
Hi, Ryan. That's an excellent question. So when you're filing your returns, you're going to be using a mileage log or ELD, which is just an electronic log like a GPS that goes in your truck. And you're also going to be looking at your fuel receipts. So in order to support those filings, you need to hang on to whatever mileage log you're using and your receipts for 4 years. That is the requirement to hang on to those. The IFTA department, if we notice an issue with your filing, can request those within that 4-year period. Again, excellent question.
Yes, thank you so much, Ryan. We definitely appreciate you asking that question. That's definitely what we're here for. Steve, any other questions come through?
And outside of Ryan's question, I'm checking one more time. He says, thank you, Ryan. You are very welcome. It's our pleasure. And that is the only question we have in the Q&A at this time.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Again, my name is Jamie. I'd like to thank my producer, Tiffany, my co-producer, Steve, and of course, our subject matter expert, Aaron, for their help this afternoon with webinar. And I'd also like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us. Thank you and have a great rest of your afternoon.
Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.